2, 1. It has been a. I'm going to do John Oliver. You ready?
Or no, I'm going to be like, Trump's got like 34 problems and innocent is not one.
Not a single one. Here we go. John Oliver. We got him!
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. At any rate.
I mean, it's a small victory.
The what were we calling it? The trial of the century?
Well,
I know. Whatever. There'll be another one.
Whenever Jack Smith, if Jack Smith gets the federal trial, that's the trial of the century. We still won't have cameras in on that, though.
Really? Because it's federal?
Yeah.
Motherfucker!
Now, if the Atlanta case gets going...
Well, we have to wait till October for that anyway now, because his appeal of the judge needing to get kicked off.
Yeah.
That appeal is pushed to October.
See how I led you into that?
Yeah. I know you did. And I Mark McGuired on peak steroids. That bitch out the park. I saw, real quick, I'm just tangent, real quick. I saw something that Mickey Mantle hit the longest home run on record.
Yeah.
600 feet?
I don't know if it was that. I mean, it was over like 550. I know that.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Like cleared the roof at Old Yankee.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you teed it up and I knocked it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
So let's be fucking honest here. This really doesn't move the needle much. Right?
I mean, short term helped Trump a lot. He raised a lot of money to where he's now almost equal to Biden.
But then I saw today where the polls are finally starting to come out, and a lot of it have where like anywhere from 2 to 7%, or like now flipping. You know those. If he got convicted, would you not? Now now that he's convicted, are you voting for him? No. Yeah, which I still don't understand the people who are on the fence, but
well, and also they depending on when you hear that data, they might preface it with these were the people that were polled. A lot of times, though, they just sort of skip out over that, and they're like, out of the people that were polled, but it's like you don't know who they're like. They may not say exactly who they're polling, so they might be.
I want to know if you're
polling MAGA people,
right? Exactly.
So if you're seeing like
this
a 10% drop,
Republicans,
yeah. So and at this point, you do have to make that decision. Which Republicans are you talking to? Are you talking to people who still check the box Republican on their voter registration, or are you talking to the people Jordan Klepper are talking to?
Dude.
At the rallies and shit.
And there's another kid on TikTok who's really good about it, but he's not the one. No, he is interviewing the guy.
Well, like Young Turks are doing it. The Good Liars are doing it.
But good God, that is scary. Like the dude, so clearly Trump was found guilty. I'm surprised, legit surprised that it happened before the weekend.
Yeah,
I put the over-under at Friday, and there was no way I was taking that under. I figured it would be...
Same as with the polls. Like, all national news media was like, I don't know, they made Michael Cohen look pretty bad, and they might not, do this. And then, like, those people literally sat down, had a sandwich, and were like, all guilty.
Asked 5 questions.
Yeah,
And that was more like, can you define like election law for me? Right. And I need to hear this testimony like a couple more times. And it was one of the phone calls.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if it was like confusion or, kind of like, well, we don't really know that, I would think you would have gotten not guilty.
Right.
On a couple of the charges.
Or at least 1 or 2 people going like, I don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what they're asking me, so I can't in good faith
but I want to go home.
Guilty.
So,
and I think that's... The defense clearly went the route of, we just need one person, one cat in that box to be like, meh. That was their defense, right? And the fact that they came back, and I think it was a total of less than 12 hours between the day before and when it finally happened. Guilty. And were you watching it live?
Yeah, I saw. I got the Ari Melbourne. Or Ari Melber reading it out on MSNBC, which is
that's what I was doing.
Was
too.
a little disappointing because that dude always talks about like Jay-Z and Wu-Tang and stuff like that, and he just read it straight.
Facts.
Like you should have been riffing on that.
Nope. He just and we're getting yep.
Guilty.
That is 13 through 17. We're now. Sorry, we're a little slow. We've got people reporting from inside the courtroom. That is now 18 through 22 guilty. We are hearing, that's what he was doing. I was expecting so much more.
Yeah, no.
And then it was shock. Like, no matter what you watched. If it's left media, right media, it doesn't matter. Everybody just went, fuck.
Well,
collectively, oh my God.
Yeah, liberals didn't think you were going to get all.
No.
And on the right, that he got all. Now on the MAGA right, you're in that box of like, and that's why they immediately pivoted to like this was rigged. They started saying like Joe Biden, but even now, like today, one of Trump's former lawyers is coming out going like, how does Joe Biden have control over a state court? Which is that's a valid point to make. Is that I mean, if you're talking Jack Smith and that stuff, but it's like new and. Yeah. They went over the minutia of the jury selection about people being like, they vetted most of those jurors really well to be like, are you middle of the road?
Had that conversation.
Do you have an opinion either way about this?
At
or
what
whatever?
point do they have veto power?
Yeah.
And like, no, those are the 12 people. So this whole like rigged jury and like they wouldn't let people testify, like that's horse shit.
I mean, as far as I know, I was still surprised by that the defense didn't have more witnesses.
No, and they're the reason that. God, I fucking talk like Trump.
We all do. Well, it's also because you're sitting down,
and I'm Italian.
As long as you're not standing up and doing.
I'm not Italian.
You're good.
I'm not Trump. I'm Italian, so I talk. With my hands. Yeah. God, I wish I had a camera on him.
Yeah.
When it happened, I can only go by words because it's so and so was in the courtroom and they're writing down as fast as they can. And I
heard he didn't have any reaction whatsoever. Like he just sort of just stared straight.
Right, and then because the jury didn't look at him, but that's kind of been the thing for 6 weeks. But yeah, his reaction was. I also read several that
they said one of the jurors was like dead eye staring him.
Oh really? I need to find that.
Yeah,
I'll find that.
I think I remember reading that somewhere. Where like 2 or 3 of them were just like wanting to see what his reaction was.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
Like I'd have been completely professional. Again, I hate this cocksucker, but if I'm one of them, at that point, like I want to witness history. Like people in 1,000 years are going to know what this motherfucker looked like when he heard guilty 34 times.
Right. No, first president. And there's plenty of presidents who should have been convicted of various different crimes.
Right.
But first one that actually has been, which is
felonies.
Astonishing.
So here's the thing. This motherfucker can't travel to 38 countries.
Right.
He can't be a teacher. He can't work for a bank. He can't do anything.
Well, and last I remember, even though they passed the law, they've been trying to prevent it, that felons can't vote in Florida.
So here's it. New York, there is, like, he can. Technically,
right, but he changed his residency to Florida. But even if he's, a convicted felon's a convicted felon.
But I read somewhere where they could say because...
Well, actually, this might be a good thing. Trump will get all felons who have served their time their ability to vote in Florida.
That's what I was just about to say. Because within the past...
He's actually into civil rights. We just didn't really know it.
So... Last election, they tried to get felons who voted their votes thrown out.
Yeah.
Correct. So technically, this motherfucker can't vote.
Yeah.
Unless you move to, I don't know, Alabama maybe.
Well, but like Florida had passed a law saying if you had served your time,
correct,
and you were a felon released,
you can
out of
vote.
But
and
then they tried to block.
Went,
no. So then,
fuck what that said. None of those votes
even if
count
Trump hasn't
Iris.
served his time, he has a felony on his record. It doesn't matter if that's in another state.
Correct.
So then
Uganda doesn't give a fuck. Like he could have kicked a police dog. They don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah.
You're a felon.
Yeah.
And I made Uganda up. That was just the first one off the top of my head. I went with Uganda. I figured that was a solid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. I don't think people are looking at all those little things.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are 6 states where he shouldn't be allowed on the ballot.
It could be. Yeah. I mean, again, that running elections falls to the individual states. So whatever their bylaws are.
New York's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
But I wish I should have wrote it down, but my brain doesn't work like that. But yes, there are at least a half a dozen states where he should not be on the ballot.
I mean, the question is like, are those states that he would be competitive in? Like, he's not winning New York.
No, and I want to say most of them are pretty solid blue or purple at
that's what
worst.
that's what I would figure anyway. But
so it's not going to matter. But which is why when like New Hampshire.
But then I mean, again, you might see a flurry of. If there are southern states that have that in their bylaws, a flurry that might change that. But then all of a sudden,
Landry's going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah. But like we said, is that if you are then saying like, well, even if you have a felony on your record, you can vote. That opens up a wide swath of residents in all different states, and particularly here in the South.
People are going to say like, yeah, but do all those felons really want to vote? If you pay the money to campaign. Yes.
Well,
even if you get 30% of them to vote, out of 3.
You can't bribe somebody to vote.
No. But if you put campaign ads out there, like here in Louisiana, zero money fucking spent.
Well, I would say,
Democrat.
If Trump spun that to where, hey, I know what it's like to be a felon, and I got your state to change their felon voting laws.
Right.
Hey, I liberated you.
That's. So, okay.
He'd fuck that up anyway, though.
Yeah, every legal scholar that I've heard from is just like, no, he's pretty much done at this point. Like, he's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, and, the part that I do find funny is, and I guess this is a good way to wrap this segment up, is, as soon as those verdicts came out, all of a sudden on all different news media things is they're like, can a convicted felon run for president? And
yes,
I know, but it's that thing of how social studies teachers, civics teachers, or that you weren't paying attention in those classes, of that there are only 3 requirements, and that we have had
age, citizenship, and
residency.
So even if I have citizenship, but I live in, say, I don't know, Uganda.
No.
I can't. I have to live here.
You have to have lived in the United States for 14 years.
Oh, God. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's why,
guess what?
That's why, an ambassador can immediately jump from being an ambassador to a president.
But you could do vice president like Nikki Haley?
No, but see, she's been back. But she was UN.